The last thing I said to my mother was something I didn't mean, but those were the words she heard, and the ones she carried with her when she left this world. I didn't know it would be the last time I saw her. If I had known, I would have held her a little longer, listened a little more, and spoken a little softer. But life rarely gives us that kind of warning. It was a Tuesday afternoon. Nothing special, nothing memorable, just an ordinary day that quietly became the most painful memory of my life. My mother had come over to my house unannounced, like she often did. She brought a small plastic bag filled with things she thought I might need: fresh oranges from her garden, a jar of homemade pickles, and a folded sweater she said looked warm. She always did that. Even when I was already grown, married, and raising children of my own, she still showed up with little pieces of care wrapped in plastic bags. Back then, I didn't see it as love. I saw it as interference. I remember opening the door and seeing her standing there, smiling the way mothers do when they just want to see their child. But I was tired that day. Work had been stressful, the kids were arguing inside the house, bills were piling up, my head was full of worries, and somehow my mother became the easiest place to release that frustration. She walked inside slowly, looking around the living room. "I just came to see you for a few minutes," she said gently. "I made your favorite pickles." She placed the jar on the table like it was something special. But instead of thanking her, I sighed, a long, annoyed sigh. "Mom, you can't just keep coming here whenever you want." The smile on her face faded slightly. "I thought maybe you were busy," she said softly. I should have stopped there. I should have taken a breath, but instead, the words kept coming. "I'm not a kid anymore. You don't need to keep checking on me." She looked down at her hands. "I know," she whispered. But my frustration hadn't cooled yet. "Sometimes it feels like you don't trust me to live my own life." That sentence landed heavier than I realized. She stood quietly for a moment. Then she nodded. "I didn't mean to bother you." She pushed the jar of pickles a little closer to me, like she still wanted to leave something behind. Then she picked up her purse. "I'll go now." I didn't stop her. I didn't walk her to the door. I didn't hug her. And the last thing I said to her was the sentence that still echoes in my mind every night. "Please call next time before you come." She paused at the doorway, turned slightly, and said something I didn't understand at the time. "All right, I will." Then she left. I went back to my busy day, and I didn't think about those words again. Not until it was too late. 3 days later, my phone rang early in the morning. It was my aunt. Her voice sounded strange, soft, careful, the way people talk when they're holding something heavy. "Are you sitting down?" she asked. My stomach tightened. "What happened?" There was a long silence before she said the words that split my world in half. "Your mother passed away last night." For a moment, everything around me went quiet. The room, the house, even the air. My mother was healthy. She had no serious illnesses. She still walked every morning and watered her plants. "How?" I asked, my voice shaking. "She had a stroke in the night," my aunt said. "It happened suddenly." I don't remember the next few minutes clearly. I remember dropping the phone. I remember sitting on the floor. And I remember the first thought that crashed into my mind. My last words to her. Not, "I love you," not, "take care," not even, "thank you," but a complaint, a request for distance, a sentence that made her feel like she wasn't welcome. At the funeral, people kept telling me the same thing. "Your mother loved you so much. You were always her favorite person to talk about. Every time she visited your house, she came back smiling. Each sentence felt like a weight pressing on my chest, because all I could remember was the way she looked at the door when I asked her to call before coming. After the burial, my aunt handed me a small envelope. "She asked me to give you this if anything ever happened to her," she said. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a simple note written in my mother's handwriting. It said, "I know you are busy with your own life now. I try not to bother you too much. I just like seeing you, even if it's only for a few minutes." My vision blurred with tears, but there was one more line at the bottom, and it broke me completely. "Don't worry. Next time I will call first." Years have passed since that day, but the memory hasn't faded. Some people say time heals everything, but there are certain words time cannot erase. I visit my mother's grave every month. Sometimes I sit there quietly. Sometimes I talk to her like she's still listening. And sometimes I apologize over and over again. "I'm sorry for that day, Mom. I was tired, but you didn't deserve that. I wish I had hugged you." One afternoon, while sitting beside her grave, I finally understood something that changed the way I see everything. My mother didn't come to my house because she didn't trust me. She came because she loved me. Those plastic bags with fruit and pickles weren't interruptions. They were her way of saying, "I'm still here for you." When we are young, we think love will always be there waiting. We think there will always be another visit, another conversation, another chance to say something kinder. But life doesn't promise that. Sometimes the last words we speak to someone become permanent, and we don't even realize it at the time. If I could go back to that Tuesday afternoon, I wouldn't change much. I wouldn't change my job or my worries. I would only change one thing. When my mother handed me that jar of pickles, I would say 3 simple words. "Thank you, Mom." And before she walked out that door, I would hug her just once more. Because the day I realized my last words hurt her was the day I learned how much those words truly mattered.